Clay from Brooklyn, football with the fellas. It's all about Big Blue here on Father's Day. So, first, let me start by saying Happy Father's Day, everybody. Those of you who are fathers, who are future fathers, who have or had a father or are a father in law or whatever, if you know somebody who Father's Day applies to, please wish him well. And if you really want to make his day, share this with him. Share the Football with the Fellas All About Big Blue episodes with him. I know that will brighten up the day of any father, especially a Giants fan father. Okay, maybe I'm overstating that a little bit. But in any event, happy Father's Day. So I'm going to continue with this thought experiment I've been doing the last couple episodes. I'm up to week 2 now, looking at how the 2025 Giants might have fared against the 2024 Giants schedule. Week 2 is against Washington. We went into that game last year thinking we're definitely going to win this game. We beat Washington all the time. Remember, before last year, we had been on a pretty good roll beating Washington. Daniel Jones in particular seemed to be like waiting for the Washington games every year. And they had a rookie quarterback who was in week 2 of his, rookie season. We weren't really worried about him yet. We figured he hadn't really figured it all out yet. And our pass rush, we had just added Brian Burns. We had Dexter and Kayvon already. We were like, oh, we're going to get after this guy. We'll be fine. We weren't fine. So I'm going to take a look at some of the plays I think were key to the outcome and, offer my opinions on how I think the 2025 Giants might have fared differently than the 2024 Giants did. Let's start with the obvious. So on the opening kickoff, Graham Gano gets hurt. So how about not? How about we not get Graham Gano injured on the opening kickoff? And here it is. So here's Gano. Just watch Gano. First of all, watch their return man run past everybody. You saw that flag fly in, so this play didn't even count. But there's Gano collapsing on the ground, pulling at his leg. And I knew already he was out for this game. I was thinking he's out for the season. He's already 80 years old and just does not have the ability to recover from something like that right away. So we were without a kicker for the rest of this game, which turned out to be the main reason we lost this game because we set a dubious NFL record in this game. For the first time in NFL history, a team scored 3 touchdowns, gave up no touchdowns, and still lost the game in regulation. Lost the game, period. That's not a thing. You score 3 touchdowns, you give up 0 touchdowns, and you lose? What is that? That's not a thing, but that's what we did. Mainly because our 3 touchdowns wound up with a total of 18 points because we had no way of getting extra points. Or at least we didn't think we did. Whether or not you blame Dable for not having someone ready to kick extra points if Gano got hurt is another story. We've visited that, I'm sure, many times last year. I won't go back to that again. All right, so the opening kickoff touchdown was taken off the board, but that same drive here is 3rd and 1. Their trips right, 3rd and 1, trips right, and look where our DBs are. Really? 3rd and 1. Why are you guys 10 yards off the ball on 3rd and 1? Jaden Daniels says, oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. If you want to just give me the first down, I'll take it. So what does he do? He throws a quick bubble screen. And look at all this space. They needed 1 yard, and they picked up like 5. But why would we do that? So I think the 2025 Giants learned that lesson. I think Shane Bowen learns that lesson. I think Brian Dable learns that lesson. I think Paulson Adebo maybe doesn't let them call a defense where he's 10 yards off the ball on 3rd and 1. Another key play. Isaiah Simmons, great athlete, no longer with the Giants. Great athlete, not a very good football player. He's the spy for Jaden Daniels. Why is he a spy? Because he's really athletic. He meaning Simmons. So is Daniels, but Simmons is even more athletic. Bigger, stronger, faster than Daniels. So we have him basically spying on Daniels. But then come up and make the play. Really? Really? That's what you did? Let's take a look at that from another angle. Here's Simmons. Here's Daniels. You'll see Dexter takes this guard for a ride because one man can almost never block Dexter. And for some reason, they decided to try to block Dexter Lawrence with one man. And Dexter says, let's go for a ride. He gets held, of course, but whatever. He still puts the pressure on. So right now, as Daniels breaks the pocket, and you see he's got Elijah Chapman chasing him also, Simmons' job right now is to come up and make this tackle, to come up and at least force Daniels to make a decision right away. Don't let him keep rolling out to his left, looking for more receivers. Like, you're not covering anybody. right? So if you're not actually covering anybody right now, then go make a play on the quarterback. But instead, you see where he is? He's at roughly the 33-yard line. He just runs parallel across the field and then overruns the play and gets shook anyway. What? What is that? Like, what is the point of having a spy who doesn't spy? Like, if you're going to be the spy, when the quarterback breaks contain, move up and make a play on the quarterback. Again, where he is right now is fine. But when Dexter puts that pressure on, right now, if I'm uh, Isaiah Simmons, I'm moving up. I'm coming upfield to try to make a play. I'm going to try and make sure that that Daniels has to make a decision, and hopefully that decision is for me to tackle him at like the 40. But instead, you're running parallel to the line of scrimmage, and then you get shook because you overrun it. Terrible play. Terrible play. 3rd and 1. Here's Bobby Okereke. Very good inside linebacker. Very good. Good tackler, big, strong guy. Here's Tay Banks, cornerback. Not a good tackler. In fact, a very, very bad tackler. 3rd and 1. Who do you want in this gap, in the C gap? I want the linebacker. Let's put Tay Banks out here on the edge. Really, I already have Kayvon on the edge, but outside even wider than that. And let's let the linebacker come into the C gap, right? A gap, B gap, C gap. But what does Okereke do? He pushes Banks up into that hole. And then he, Bobby Okereke, goes out wide. Really? So what do you think happens? This man who hates contact and tackling, I'm convinced, just hates contact, jumps out here on this running back who not only doesn't have the ball, which is obvious by the fact that Kayvon just let him go and ran this way, but you also already have someone out here in case he does get the ball. But you know where I don't have help? Here in this C gap. So why not just stay there where you're needed instead of dancing outside wide while the running back picks up the first down? 5 more yards. Again, if I'm Bobby Okereke, or more importantly, if I'm Shane Bowen talking to Bobby Okereke, I say, you go in the C gap. Let him go out wide because you would have made this tackle. Again, what we're reading right here, right, at the mesh point where Jaden Daniels has to decide what to do with the ball, Kayvon, who was unblocked, is right there. And he already is ready to level Daniels if Daniels keeps that ball. So even if Daniels wanted to make a little toss into the flat with this running back, he wouldn't have been able to because Kayvon would be lighting him up in about a half a second. So he has to let that ball go. And clearly you don't have the ball yet, right? Kayvon just ran past you. So why are you jumping out here? Because you don't like to get involved in tackles. That's why. But if you were here and you were there, we stop this play. Okereke hits this man right here. He doesn't pick up the first down. So again, little things that we just don't do well. Once again, trips right, defensive backs in Pennsylvania instead of New Jersey. I don't understand it. Or actually, this game was in Washington, so Pennsylvania instead of Washington. I don't understand it. Why are we so far back? And then their linemen make really good blocks. So I think next year's team doesn't have 10-yard cushions so the bubble screens are open all the time. I think next year's team understands that you can't be that far back off the ball, like ever. And watching this play from the other angle, you'll see that their linemen really make some good blocks. Tyler Biadasz in particular, the center, makes a good decision and then takes off upfield. Let's see what happens. So they get the ball out here. Bobby Okereke thinks he's making this tackle, but no, that lineman blocks him. And what I really liked is when Drew Phillips, for some reason, didn't come right up to make the tackle, but instead looked like he was not sure if he should address this blocker or come inside with it to make the tackle. That little hesitation allowed Tyler Biadasz to say, you know what, I don't need to block you. You've taken yourself out of the play. So let me go on upfield and block Jason Pinnock. Here's a lineman making another block on a weak side linebacker coming across. And you see they pick up another 7 or 8 yards because their linemen make great blocks downfield. I never see our linemen do that, but whatever. More importantly, I don't think we'll be in such soft coverage. And so I think that play is less likely to work next year. Here we try to run a screen pass, which fooled no one, like literally no one. Watch their linebackers and even the defensive tackle that we let through say, "Oh, this must be a screen pass," and they're taking off before the ball is even thrown, and that play had no shot. Will Russell Wilson be better at setting up screens? Will our second year under Carmen Brasillo allow us to actually execute a screen a little bit better? Hopefully, because even Devin Singletary doesn't sell this very well. He never moves. Like if this was a regular pass play, wouldn't you be coming up here to block him? No. So you gave that away right away, and look at all these commander jerseys surrounding him before he even gets to the ball. So screen that fools no one, not so much. You might remember this play. Zach Ertz steals this pass away from Jason Pinnock. Pinnock had at least a pass breakup right in his hands. It should have had an interception, but he allows Ertz to just steal it from him. So here's Ertz breaking out, and here's Pinnock closing on him. Here's the ball. Pinnock clearly has the inside angle on the ball, but Ertz just takes it from him. And that's annoying. I think that Javon Holland makes a better play than that. Pinnock is gone. He's not even on the team anymore, and Holland will be there instead. So I think that's a play that would have gone our way instead of theirs. Another 3rd and 1. Another only 2 interior defensive linemen, neither of which is Dexter Lawrence. Really? 3rd and 1, and you're going to say, let me line up with 2 defensive tackles, and neither of them is Dexter Lawrence? I don't even like 2 defensive tackles when one of them is Dexter Lawrence, but especially not when it's not. So what do you think happened on 3rd and 1 with 2 defensive tackles and no Dexter Lawrence? You think we stopped them? You'd be wrong. We did not. Okay, so again, a lot of linemen getting washed. Now, this one got held, to be honest, but a lot of linemen getting washed. And of course, our safety was, 20 yards downfield having coffee break. So by the time he moves up, it's a 10-yard gain. So let's watch this again. And you'll see that, the defensive tackle does get held. Actually, so does Bobby Okereke. But the fact is, when you only have 2 DTs, it is much easier to run against you. Again, on 3rd and 1. So they double team him, and they deal with that easily. So then he can release and get the linebacker. Look at that hold. That is such a good hold with his right hand that he's able to block the safety with his left hand. I mean, that is a serious hold. He is turning the man's shoulders. If you see a man's shoulders turning like this, it's because he's getting held. Now, he's actually getting held too, but that's where the hole is. And if you had 3 interior defensive linemen, that hole isn't there. It's just not. So another time now they got away with a hold, but our scheme was bad. Still 2 defensive tackles. We do dodge a bullet this time because Daniels drops the snap, but it was still 2 defensive tackles, and that was supposed to be a jet sweep, and he dropped the snap, so it didn't happen. But look what would have happened. Look what's out here. Look at all these red jerseys and 2 white jerseys, and he would have the ball. That wouldn't have ended well for us. So we dodged the bullet here. And again, because only 2 defensive tackles. So when there's only 2 defensive tackles, other people in the back 7 have to crash in and try to help stop what might be a run. And that's how we would have gotten beat outside. That would have almost certainly been a touchdown. Okay, so in this play, we didn't have a spy. I guess Dable and Shane Bowen said, well, if Isaiah Simmons is not going to be a good spy, then maybe we just won't have any spy. But we dodge a bullet here too, because Jaden Daniels runs for like a country mile, but he could have thrown for a touchdown. He could have thrown for an 85-yard touchdown if he had seen him. So Jaden Daniels drops back, and he gets a little bit of pressure, and he steps up. And there's a lot of room here. Again, no spy this time, right? A lot of room here. And he's a great athlete, so he takes off. But look at this man. I mean, this is, I believe, Jason Pinnock, who is taking off to double cover him for some reason, because no one's covering him. Look at all this space Jaden Daniels winds up running in. But look where this guy is. Like, there's no one on his 4th of the field. And Daniels somehow still picks up the first down because we are too far back. But the fact is, it could have been a touchdown. So I think we actually got away with one there, even though it didn't look like it in the box score, right? You watch this play and you're like, oh my God, he just ran for 15, 20 yards and got to pick up the first down. What you don't see is he could have thrown an 85-yard touchdown pass. Okay, multiple bad run fits, especially Banks. Part one means I'm going to show this from another angle as well. So Micah gets here a little bit late, misses the tackle, and of course, off to the races because Banks doesn't like the tackle. You see, he's still not closing on the running back. He's still running parallel to the running back. He drives me crazy. Micah, as usual, gets to the point of attack. He's very good at getting to the point of attack, but just a hair late, and he can't make that tackle. And now, why, I ask you, is this happening? So here's Banks. Here's a clear running play, right? This is obviously a running play. Way downfield, offensive lineman. So obviously a running play. You've got help here. I need you here so that he doesn't cut back. What do? You keep creeping in. It's like you don't see the ball. Like you don't seem to be looking at the ball carrier. You seem to be looking this way. He's got the ball. You need to be here. He could have made this tackle if you forced him to cut up. But no, you don't force him to cut up. You take another step, and now you plant your feet and realize, oh, I guess I'm the only person who can stop him on the sideline. But by now, he's got a full head of steam, and you're running the wrong way. So he's going to cut behind you. And he does. Now, from this point on, now, Tay Banks is very fast. So at this point, this is going to be a positive gain. But he's not even at midfield yet. And now you take this angle where you're going to run parallel to him instead of this angle where you can make the tackle. I want you to make a tackle. Don't run parallel to him. You're still not closing. You are not getting any closer to this running back. He's now at the 45. Now he's at the 40. You're still not running towards him. You are still not running towards him. He's at the, oh my God, he's at the 35. And then finally, you kind of sort of push him out of bounds, kind of, like he gets another 3 yards after you hit him. What is that? That is terrible. This is why Jerome Henderson was yelling at him all the time. And this is why he got benched. Here's another long third down conversion. Our defense this year is going to be better. Darius Alexander is going to be better on the interior defensive line. Javon Holland and Paulson Adebo will be better. We will have a better defense overall. Now, they dump a screen pass, right? You see where the first down marker is. The first down marker is at just before the 17, like the 17 and a half yard line. Let's back up for a second. When this ball is snapped, it's on the 30, just outside the 30, and they have to get roughly 13 yards for a first down. Okay. So we're covering receivers, I get it. And they dump a screen. But right now, the ball is out. You see the ball? It's out. That's the ball. You can't throw 2 forward passes in the National Football League. So if the ball is out, then we don't have to cover receivers anymore. They are useless to me. So you, for example, don't need to run 10 more yards this way. But your back is to the play, so maybe you don't realize he's throwing it yet, but you do. You're running up to make this tackle. First of all, I'm not sure why you're in the 5 yard line. First down mark is a 17. What are you doing at the 5? There's no one anywhere near the 5. Right? You started the play at the 15. When the ball is snapped, you immediately start backpedaling. Why? Why? Who are you covering back here? Nobody's back there. Nobody's coming back there. You didn't need to be at the 5. Right? You started at the 15. The first down mark is a 17, and now you're all the way back at 6. I don't need that. Even if this wasn't a screen, you're not helpful. But it is. And so you're going to literally run right past this man, not say, hey, screen, release, turn around, let's go make a tackle. Nothing. You just run right past him while he continues to run away from the play, while this man has the ball and is gaining yards right up the middle. Isaiah Simmons, very good athlete, takes very bad angle. Maybe he's not as fast as he thought he was because this is a bad angle. And by the time he gets there, first down. Right? Late and with the bad angle, late and doesn't even turn around, and first down. So again, I think we are better than this. Oh, my favorite, Tay Banks, my favorite defender. What does he do? Literally nothing. Literally nothing. Makes no effort whatsoever to get involved in that play. There he is walking. Really? Here's that play from another angle. Let's watch Tay Banks. I'm hoping he gets beat out and he's not starting this year. So there's Tay Banks. Let's watch him. Nothing. Doing nothing. Making no effort whatsoever. Watching the play. Gotta go. Gotta go. Tyler Newman. Here you are playing deep single high safety. Covering no one again while someone is wide open. So covering no one isn't so bad when there's no one to be covered. But when there's someone to be covered, cover him. Who is this man? Whose man is this if he's not yours? I, Now, one could argue that maybe you should have stayed with him because this running back in the flat, someone else was already going out there with him. And maybe you should have stayed with him at least for another second or so. But you didn't. And you are covering the W in Washington, right? You're not covering him. No one's covering him because Pinnock blitzed. Another head scratching decision. Why did you think, Jason Pinnock, you had any shot at getting to the quarterback? If anything, he was going to get to the quarterback, but you certainly weren't. So you might as well cover this guy because right now no one else is covering him. He is wide open. But Jaden Daniels was rolling to his right, so he didn't see him, and he didn't need to see him because you decided not to cover the tight end, and so did you. So he's wide open 15 yards downfield. So he takes that easy pitch and catch. While you are still backpedaling, like who do you think you're covering? What is the backpedaling doing? Let's watch this whole play. Newman is covering no one and covering him well. And now he has still 10 yards to go to make the tackle, and he doesn't even make the tackle. Somebody else does. Here's that same play. I really don't even want to watch it, but same play from behind Newman. Let's see what he sees. I don't know. You don't see this guy standing there wide. You can't tell he's wide open. All right, I'm done. Okay, so Dexter's out again, and we have two interior defensive linemen again, and they feast again. So they run a little draw play. Defensive tackles are washed, and because the defensive tackles are washed, their linemen get to go to the second level and wash our linebackers also. Same play, different angle. Let's watch TJ Javison and Raheem Nunez-Roches get washed. Right? So they just throw him to the side, throw him out the club. This guy doesn't even need to be double teamed. So now these two can release. So yes, we have two inside linebackers here, but we've got two big offensive linemen coming downfield now because we only had two defensive linemen and neither of them was Dexter. So it didn't take much to block them. So now we can release on this draw play right away. Micah decides to try to duck under the lineman this way. Now, if he had gone this way, he would have had help from Tyler Newman on this side. Maybe he didn't see that. That's fair. Tyler started behind him, right? But what happens is he goes right, and that leaves this gaping hole, and then Newman runs into McFadden. And Pinnock, very late, but finally does make the tackle. Okay. Another key play was the play in which we fumbled. So here's Devin Singletary. Nice hole, good blocking, nice cut. But got to hold on to the ball. There's the ball. Ball is out. Washington recovers. So again, might we do better with ball security this year? I don't know. Tyrone Tracy fumbled a lot too, but certainly that's going to be something we address. JMS, seriously? Now this play actually turns out well for us, but not for any efforts of JMS. Watch what JMS does as Frankie Louvu comes in blitz right at the A-gap. Nothing. Nothing. Really? I mean, yes, we turned this into a good play. But what was the point of you holding your arms out parallel to the ground like that if you weren't going to react when you feel somebody? Like right there, you touched him. Like you know he's there. You know you don't have anything to do here. Or if you were going to hit him, then move up and hit him. But you didn't do that either. And you just keep backpedaling and not touching anybody. I mean, not blocking anybody. That's terrible. And now, again, the play worked out well, but Frankie Louisville almost got to Daniel Jones before the ball got out. You see why I want Eric McCoy? You see why I'm willing to trade for Eric McCoy, the center from the Saints? He's terrible. JMS is terrible. Here's one of the Daniel, you don't always have to run. Sometimes the pocket is clean. So stay in the pocket when it's clean. So this is a very good pocket. Like Daniel Jones takes off now for no reason. There is no reason. And I don't think Russell Wilson would have done that. There's nobody near you. And so now when you break contain, you open yourself up to having people chase you. These two receivers are basically out of bounds. Like there's nothing happening here. The two people there's four people in the route. These two people have a lot of space they could have operated in if you'd stayed here. But instead, you roll left, not even right, because it's harder to roll left and throw anyway, and wind up just throwing the ball away. But if you had just stayed in the pocket was fine. Here's another one. Stay in the pocket, Daniel. Pocket is fine. There's no one near you. Pocket is fine. And then you run outside, and now you get pursued, and you wind up having to throw the ball away. But again, the pocket was fine. Why would you do that? No one's near you. Now, no one's open, but no one's near you. Stay there, right? If anything, step up into the pocket. But as soon as you went outside, now this man who had no shot at you here, because there was two linemen here, now he's pressuring you. And so now you have to make a faster decision because you just exposed yourself to a pressure that wasn't there. Now, what happens when you do stay in the pocket? What happens when you let the play develop because you have the time to do it? The same thing that happens when our team doesn't get to a quarterback. Somebody comes open, right? If you give the quarterback this much time, somebody comes open and there's a touchdown to Malik Neighbors. Oh, so we are allowed to score touchdowns. And maybe if you let the play develop when the time is there to do that, maybe good things will happen, right? Remember that play a couple of plays ago when I said that the receivers to the right might have come back across the field? Well, Malik is not open right now. Nobody is. But because there's plenty of time and you stayed there, now Malik is wide open. Okay. Here I just had to put this in because it's a rare Greg Dulcich sighting, and he actually makes a good play. Very nice block. Number 89, Greg Dulcich is in his fullback right now. And that's a very good block. That is a pro H-back block. So I don't know if Greg Dulcich is going to make the team this year, but if he makes plays like that consistently, he just might. Here's Dexter. Dexter covers a multitude of sins. When Dexter's in the middle and you try to double team him, you don't go anywhere, right? Remember we saw DJ Davidson and Raheem Nunez-Roches getting washed. Dexter doesn't get washed. He's still right where he was when the ball was snapped. He's like, no, I ain't going nowhere. I don't care how many of y'all is. So two big linemen are blocking Dexter. He hasn't moved an inch. He also can now, when one of them releases to try to block a linebacker on the second level, he can also just throw you out the club and make the tackle with one hand, which is what he does. He says, I got you. We're going to stand right here and let this running back think he's got a hole, and he doesn't. And watch Dexter just throw this man out the club. This is kind of hilarious. Dexter's like, get over here. I said, sit down. We can't win games with a two-man route, right? If they only send two men in a route, we shouldn't get open. We shouldn't need that many people blocking so that we only have two men in the route. So the quarterback is obviously throwing the ball to one of those two men. That's 8 more people. All are left. All 8 of them are blocking. Really? And he still gets hit. 8 blockers. And they rushed 4. And he still gets hit. What is that? I think we're going to be better than that this year. I don't know why I think that, to be perfectly honest, but I do think that. I do think our pass blocking will be better than that this year. Right? 8 people. There's only 2 people in the route. 1, 2. 8 people have to be able to block 4 people. Have to. Have to. Or we should be in like the SEC. Again, 2-man route. 8 blockers. In this case, both of the 2 men were open. I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand if you only got 2 men in the route, why they weren't able to cover those 2, but both of them are open. And the throw is still late. This is who he throws it to. He is open now, but you're not throwing it yet. And by the time you throw it, he has come back and broken it up. So, yeah, I think our quarterback, Russell Wilson, is going to be better at this. And honestly, he's open too, right? He could have gone to either side. Again, it's only a 2-man route. Nobody else is in the route. But he could have thrown to either one of them. But if he makes this throw to Malik now, as he's getting behind him, if the ball is out now, that's a pretty good hole shot to take. But if you wait till now to throw the ball, now he's closing. But even if that's the case, even if you waited till now, if you put a little bit more on it and let him out here, again, look how open Darius Slayton is up here. But if you put the ball out in front of Malik Neighbors, he makes this catch. But no, he's got to come to a stop and come back for the ball, and it gets broken up. So even though we only had 2 men in the route, you still couldn't find the guy that was open. And they were both open. This has driven me crazy, dating back to when we first got Saquon. When you see a running back trot out wide, and the person who comes out to cover him has a number in the 50s, more importantly, is a linebacker, throw him the ball. This is a former wide receiver. Tyrone Tracy spent most of his life as a wide receiver. He shifted to running back 2 years ago. 1 year in college, 1 year in the pros. He's a former wide receiver. He can't run a go route. Bobby Wagner comes out here to cover him. Really? At this point, if I'm Daniel Jones, I'm saying check, check, rack. Take this to the rack. There is no help, no safety. It's just, I just can't wrap my head around this. This must be a league rule. This must be one of those unwritten, unspoken rules. Please don't run past my linebacker. Because they used to do this with Saquon too. They bring Saquon out here, they see a linebacker come out with him, and then they motion Saquon back into the backfield. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Send him on the go. You think this man can cover this man 30 yards? Of course he can't. Of course he can't. First of all, you could have snapped the ball by now. He didn't even get there yet. And you throw a quick slant. Why is he standing here? He should be down here. There is nobody else here. Throw the ball down the field. Let this running back beat the linebacker. Of course he's faster than his linebacker. I just can't. I just can't. And yeah, we threw a little quick slant and got a few yards. But that should have been a touchdown. So what are my takeaways from week 2? That we should have won this game anyway. And the 2025 Giants almost certainly would have. We should have won this game anyway. If we had just got a field goal kicker to kick extra points, we would have won this game anyway. But I certainly think the 2025 Giants would win this game. So we'd be 2-0 now, according to me. Like we thought we would be. Last August, we thought we were going to start the season 2-0, and we should have. Okay, so that's what I think. As always, I want to know what you think. Please drop us a comment, like, share, subscribe. Again, it's Father's Day. Let somebody who you love know that Giants fans, passionate Giants fans, are talking about Big Blue here on Football with the Fellas, all about Big Blue. So, Clay from Brooklyn, Football with the Fellas, all about Big Blue, and I'm out.
Big shout out to El Marquis Productions, the talent behind the music and production here at Football with the Fellas. It's all about Big Blue. Their beats bring energy and excitement to every episode. El Marquis' skills in mixing, mastering, and creating top quality sound make the podcast come alive each week. For your own projects, check out lmarqueeproductions.com and take your sound to the next level.